morning, everybody. So I am enjoying the summer rain. How about you? I love it. I love it. Before it rained, I sat out in the grass and I did some grounding. It's just been so quiet. I'm definitely feeling very relieved that I've been able to take the time to ground, realizing that, I have not been grounded and very not in my body lately, just whenever things get overwhelming for us in life, our spirit, we start to detach from our body. So we'll be in our body enough to be doing stuff, but when things are really overwhelming, whenever our minds are constantly going and when our emotions seem like there's just so much to handle and that we just constantly feel like we're stressed and overwhelmed, our spirit's high vibration, so they don't want to feel the restrictions that come with having an incarnated body. So we tend to be out of it when and where we can stand to be out of it. So while this is a really good thing, because when we sleep, our spirits, we do leave our body. We go back to the higher realms, and we need that break from our bodies. But when we're awake and we're conscious and we're here and we're doing stuff, there's a lot of restriction, because it's like being stuck in a closet, not really being able to do anything. Think of your spirit being you stuck in a closet. Anyways, grounding is super important because we have to integrate in with our body, because it's a symbiotic relationship. We are spiritual beings here experiencing a physical existence, and we have to learn to make the two work well together. And in order for that to be done, we have to, one, integrate and be comfortable, learn to be comfortable within the body. We have to work through all the things that make it uncomfortable. And we have to draw our spirit further back into the body. And as we do that, we can then ground in through the earth, and we anchor to the earth in our earth star chakras, which are the ones below your feet that are in the earth. And when you integrate from spirit all the way to Gaia, Mother Earth, that is when we can fully utilize the powerful essence of who we are as spiritual beings. By grounding to earth, we can have all these ideas and we can have all these things that we desire and that we, want to create in this life. But if we're not grounded to the earth, then we can't manifest them. And for me, this has been a very profound sort of thing, because realizing that, wow, I have been avoiding being in my body, and I've been doing it for a long time, where you just you're either existing from here up, that you're not aware of your body, you're not conscious about your body, you're just kind of existing. And it's like, oh, I've been doing that because it's uncomfortable. That my emotions, my feelings, the sensations of my body, everything is uncomfortable. So, of course, why would I want to be in it? So, the idea that we sort of maintain from here up in being more aware, and then the rest of our spirit is just kind of like hanging out, like, I don't want to really be here. But that's part of our journey here on this earth, is we're meant to be integrating. We're meant to be able to thrive in all of these different dimensions at the exact same time. We are multi-dimensional beings. We are not just here in the 3D in our physical forms. We are here in the 4D with the mental thought. We are here in 5D and beyond in spiritual, because our consciousness and our awareness exists in across time and space, that time isn't linear. Time happens and exists all at the same time. It's our perception and all of the different ways and all of the different areas that we exist at the exact same time that makes this such a cool experience, being incarnated on Earth. Because we are the superior here, because, you know, we are getting like advanced lessons here. So if you're here, kudos, because we're doing a really big thing. This isn't something that, you know, the universe or the other beings within the universe take lightly. It takes a lot for us to come here and to do the things. And you should be giving yourself a pat on the back, because you're here. You chose to come here. Everything that we feel is hard about existence, it's because it's meant to be. This is an advanced class that we chose to take because we knew we were capable of it. So. Anyways, that was not why I intended to do the video, but I'm glad the spirit sort of brought that in and was like, hey, you need to talk about this because this is really great for people right now. Okay, cool. The original reason that I wanted to do a video is because I had a thought about something that I've become more aware of, and I'm calling it the calm before the claim. There's a little ring to it, right? Okay, so let me explain what this calm before the claim is. So we go through life, right? And things happen. And especially when it comes down to things that we find we meet the same challenge over and over and over again. But at some point, you realize that your reactions are starting to be a little different. They're evolving in a way, you know? And over time, over a long period of time, your reactions go from being very, you know, really reactive. And over time, they become a little more responsive, depending on what it is, you know? For me, I've had some things come up that I realized, wow, I feel differently this happening now than it did before. And what I mean by that is when you feel reactive, when you feel that instinctive reactiveness as opposed to an instinctive response, that's where a flag goes up. Because it's kind of hard to explain, just because it may not be something that you're aware of until it happens. So the calm before the claim is, you know, having a situation where you've normally reacted a certain way, and now here it is again, but you feel more of a pensiveness, and instead of feeling agitated or you feel all the emotions coming up, you're still acknowledge that they're there, but they're not the overwhelming, they're not what's in the forefront anymore. There's actually a calmness. There's actually a clarity that comes in it. And for me, when this happened, it was, you know, in one instance, it was kind of scary, because it was like, if I'm not feeling an emotional response to this anymore, then oh my gosh, this is a big thing. This is something that feels so much more real because I don't have emotions toward it anymore. But instead of it being scary, because I mean, and that was a whole process for me personally on my journey, was the point is for me that it needed to feel scary. It needed to feel a little scary, but that was also my ego creating that was a scary thing to feel calm, to feel a sense of clarity, like I know what the truth is here, because that's what it is. The calm and the clarity is absolute truth of what is for you, for what is for us in that moment when we're feeling that. Hold that thought. Thanks for waiting. And then other instances that have come up where you don't feel urgency anymore. So a really good example would be if you're in the midst of looking for another job. Okay? We've all been there. It can be daunting if you've made the choice that you're wanting to leave your other job, and you've really started to consider, like, okay, this is really going to be a good move. And then there's this sort of slowdown because, well, you're not getting callbacks, or there's people who are hiring, but you're not qualified, or something like that. So then it becomes a little more anxiety ridden, because then it's like, I just want to be out of this situation in this job. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm ready to be out. And then you start getting frustrated. So then when you come to a point where, you've put in an application, wow, this sounds like a really good application. This sounds like a really good job. I'll put in my application for it. And you, at some point, develop this little sense of urgency. Like, I really like everything that I'm seeing about this job so far. I don't want to miss out on the opportunity. So we reach out, maybe we reach out and we send emails or follow-up phone calls, maybe more often than we should, being pushy, or being, whatever that is. It's just, you're just not wanting to miss the opportunity. You don't want somebody to pass you up for some, unfair or unjust reason, like they're making, like, I'm perfectly qualified for this, or, I'm totally cool with doing this, but, an employer may be looking at it a little differently. But you get desperate. You start emitting that frequency of desperation and lack, and that immediately creates this energy within, the universe of what you're attracting, and it's likely not attracting that job. But that's hard to get past, because it's our thoughts. Our thoughts start racing, and our thoughts start, if I don't get it, this job could be the job. And if I don't get this job, all these bad things can happen. And what if all it needs is for me to make that phone call, and then they'll consider me first for a job or whatever. But you feel the ants, the anxiety, all of the things. You feel it vibrating, and it's not a supportive vibration, though. So first take a deep breath. Kind of ground back in a little bit, and let's look at the other side of things, where, that job sounds really great. I'm going to put my application in for it, and we'll see what happens. And in the midst of this, seeing what happens, you truly do feel like, yeah, that sounds really great. I'd be cool with that. I'd be excited for that. But you're kind of leaving it at that, because, that sounds like a really great option. There's still a lot of stuff out there, so I'm going to have that sitting off to the side in my happy little nook, and I'm going to kind of keep doing the thing. And that energy there first, there's a calm, there's an awareness that, yep, really great opportunity. But you've not added this sense of, what's the word? Investment. You have not invested some sort of anything. You've not invested anything in a potential outcome. So you're acknowledging it without hyper focusing on it and losing sight of everything else. The point is, we want to energetically try to keep our options open. But here's the funny thing too, is that we're always worried about, oh, we're going to miss out on an opportunity. You missed out on a really great opportunity. If you had just done this, then it would have worked out in your favor. No. Control, Alt, delete, all that. The thing about the universe is that if it's meant for us, we will be aligned with it. Nothing will stop us from being in alignment with the things that we're meant to be in alignment with. So, for myself, even, I just got a part-time job, and it has been absolutely great. Pause. Okay. Send lots of good vibes there. Yeah, I just got a part-time job. It's been great. And when I initially started looking, I had decided a long time ago that I wasn't settling for a job anymore. That I was going to find a job that was going to work for me, and it was going to fit into my life without taking over my life. I came to the point where I was like, that is no longer an option. So, having a clear understanding of what it was that I wanted out of a job, and continuing to look and be like, okay, yeah, those seem like good options. We'll put in here, we'll put in there. And I ended up finding a job that was 2 minutes from my house, and was, very part-time hours, that it wouldn't have impeded on my home life. It wouldn't have impeded on anything else I have going on for minor perfections, that it really was just made for me. Listen to that phrase for a second. It was made for me. And I'll tell you why it really came down to me saying, wow, this is great. Because I had looked up the job, and when I went back to look at it again, I couldn't find it. And I was like, wait a minute, what happened? And I tried to look it up in a couple of different ways, and I really couldn't find it. But then I could, in some roundabout way, I finally found it again, because certain algorithms or search engines or whatever just are kind of weird in the way they come up. So I ended up going up to the place, and I talked to the manager, asking about, you guys still looking for somebody? And she was like, yeah, actually, do you have a resume? Did you put in an application? I was like, well, I have to redo my resume. And I was like, well, you redo it, you could just bring it up here to me. Okay, cool. Within the same day, I completely redid my resume. Well, I guess it was probably the next day. I redid my resume that day, and then I took it in the next day. And I did an in-person interview, and beyond that, I was supposed to have another interview with a higher up, and they ended up just offering me the job. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is great. So coming into it, I was like, wow, it really did, like, of all the people, it was me. There was this sense of alignment that came with this that was like, this really was for me. And it was only solidified once I got into the job and, learning how to do, the paperwork and the systems and things like that. And I haven't been in a conventional job in several years. So, I'm capable of doing all the things and a lot of practice. And then because, the confidence thing is like, I just want to do well. I just want to do well. And it came down to it that I realized that I can't fail at this, because this job was literally in alignment with me. It was mine from the get-go. And I didn't feel like I really had to rush things, like when I was doing my resume. Like, I knew that, I want to get this done as soon as possible. But I didn't have this overwhelming sense of like desperation, like, oh my gosh, I got to finish this and I have to, I have to go and I have to impress somebody. And no, it wasn't like that. It was, I'm doing my resume, I'm doing all of the things that I need to put on there, and I know I'm capable of doing the job based on the description of what it entails. I know I'm capable of all of it. So taking it up there, it was like, okay, I've given all my information, this would be great, and left it at that. But then getting the job and getting in there and starting to do this stuff and, feeling the anxiety, like, I just want to do well, I don't want to mess up, I don't want, people to be upset with me, I don't want people to second guess about whether I was a good choice, blah, 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 blah. No. Because it popped in and it was just like, you can't fail at this, because this is literally yours. You cannot fail. And it was the calm in all of it that I don't have anything to worry about. All the ways that I'm worrying myself about these things, it doesn't matter, because it's mine. And I'm going to do well on it, and I'm not going to have to try. I'm going to do well because I'm meant to do well on it. So there's that fun little story. But he said the calm before the claim. The calm is the moment in which we recognize the absolute truth. And after that comes the claim, where we claim and align with our desires and, the things that are meant for us. We claim it after we find the calm. So, is that something that you've been able to acknowledge that you felt before? Can you acknowledge a significant difference, especially in the things, like I said, that were, ongoing, long-term issues or reoccurrence for us? Reoccurrence. Wow. That if it seems like it's the same shit, different week, same shit, different day, take a look at how your reactions have evolved over time, from when they first happened to where they are now. Have they made significant shifts? Have you become more calm and found a sense of, felt yourself sort of stepping back from it to really see the whole picture and not get focused in on this one little spot? But the calm that comes from things, the calm doesn't necessarily mean that you're disassociating from it, that you're ignoring the problem. No, it's if you're seeing it for what it is, and your reaction and your response moves from a reactive, emotional, impulsive state to a responsive, understanding, all-encompassing moment of clarity, then that's where the truth lies. And it's finding that calm, that clarity within a situation that you're hoping will change. That's when things start to shift, that what it is that you're going to be claiming comes in a little closer. Comes in a little closer, because it's not just you align. It's not that you have to go to it, and it's not that it has to come to you. It's an alignment. They're both are moving. You are moving toward it, and based on your moves determines how slowly or quickly it's aligning with you too. It's a symbiotic relationship. There are equal and opposites, is the law of the universe. So you are moving in a direction, and what it is that you're waiting to claim is moving as well, but it's moving based on you. That it's I know that this may be something of a topic that would be kind of difficult to apply without directly talking about it. So let me know in the comments, or send me a little video, just like privately, even if you wanted to, that, you know, talking about something that you think that this concept of the calm before the claim, how could this apply to you in your life? In what ways are you curious that you can apply this? Because, like I said, for me, it's been a very profound awareness to gain, but I know that it is going to be kind of tedious. Not really tedious. Tedious sounds wrong. It's going to be a very intricate way of applying it to different people's situations, because of the fact that clarity looks different for everybody. That calm can present in a variety of different ways based on the situation. But that calm comes when what is going on is an absolute truth. So the calm is where you can be reassured that your choice in that moment is the right choice. Because sometimes when we have to change something about the way we're looking at things or the way we're doing things, the idea of changing and doing something different is scary. So that calm is actually the validation from our guides, our angels, the universe, like as a whole consciousness, is saying, no, this is exactly what you need to do. And it's the calm that comes in that helps you to say, okay, we can do this. I can do this. So in all the ways that you may have misidentified the calm as being something scary, what if that calm is just the encouragement that you're needing, saying, there you go, that's the one. Go along, do the thing. Because the part of that is in our intuition. We trust in that intuition, being aware that there are powers that be that are helping to guide us through things as we're making our choices. And they give us hints where they can, they give us hints all the time. It's about what we're in allowance of receiving. So when we're in allowance of receiving some validation for, that the choice we're making is the right choice, or that it's going to move us through to where we want to be in life, that you growing your intuition, that you trusting that you're not doing this on your own, and that you're not destined to fail. It's quite the contrary. We're destined to thrive. We're destined to succeed and to grow, and we're destined to do great things. And the definition of great is based on what we decide it is, not what anybody else decides. What the greatness that you achieve in life is up to you. It doesn't have to be what society believes is great, because maybe you don't want that. Maybe you don't want that idea of greatness. Maybe your idea of greatness is homesteading, off grid, in a beautiful place, happy with your family and community. And that's your greatness. And achieving that, that's your greatness. If your greatness is to do some of those big, big things, then awesome. But do it knowing, do it with integrity, do it with pride, and do it with consideration. Do all of the things from that space of love and connectedness, and everybody's achieving different things, but they're all great. So the calm before the claim. Where can you be aware of the calm before the claim for you? And if you get to a moment where you're acknowledging the calm, the truth of what's going on, and you're feeling the calm, let yourself be excited, because that means you are on your way to claiming exactly what you want, exactly what you deserve, exactly what you're worthy of, exactly what is meant to be for you. I hope you all have a lovely, lovely Thursday. Go dance in the rain or something. Bye, guys.